There's always a lot of excitement around a new Volkswagen Golf GTI, and there's certainly a lot around this. With 245 PS and 370 Newton meters of torque paired to a 7-speed DSG, this certainly looks like a recipe we've seen before. But now, this is built here in Malaysia. Full CKD operations in Pekan, Pahang. Does that mean we'll get a more affordable price? Well, we don't know just yet, but what we can do now is take you on a quick walk around of the new Mark 8 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now, with the Mark 8 Golf GTI, I think what a lot of people are talking about is the styling. Now, it certainly seems evolutionary for Volkswagen in terms of how they've styled the GTI, and you can still see a lot of features like the red accent trim across the grille and the very large air intakes, although admittedly these ones at the side here don't really do anything. For Malaysia, however, it seems we're not getting the funky looking LED fog lights that would fit into this hexagonal mesh pattern, but I guess that's pretty much all right. Down the side, you get a nice set of alloy wheels wrapped in proper performance rubbers actually designed for the Golf GTI. And you also get Volkswagen's IQ lights front and rear with this new unique design signature. Of course, you also get scrolling indicators at the rear because, of course, it's a Volkswagen. And you also get a couple of exhaust exits flanking a relatively neat but still sporty rear bumper. Now, one of the things that we love, and lots of people love, about the Volkswagen Golf GTI is that despite its very clear performance capabilities, it's still ultimately a practical family car. So behind the tailgate, you get a pretty decent amount of space, if you ask me. This floor, however, does not hide more space underneath, as there is unfortunately a space saver, but you can actually lower this if you want in order to create more vertical space, like that. But of course, in its topmost position, you can then fold the rear seats 60-40 for more space. There's also a ski hatch for, when we go skiing in this country. But otherwise, this is a very practical space. There's also a little light back here and a 12-volt socket and a couple of little hooks for you to sort of hang shopping bags. Now, the inside of the Mark 8 Golf GTI marries a lot of very familiar features with a lot of new innovations that we'd expect to see from Volkswagen. So the things that you'd expect, these lovely sports seats, which are done up in so many different colors, it's quite hard to keep track of. There's some black, and there's some light gray, and some darker gray, and some red piping and stitching. There's a lot going on here, but ultimately it works out to a very good looking cabin. You also get ambient lighting with color. I don't know how many colors there might be because I cannot check. And so I'm sure that these will turn red when you're in sport mode or whatever else. You also get a huge instrument cluster, a huge infotainment display, which now does all the features, including the climate control, the drive mode, the everything. The everything now goes through the center screen. So if you don't like touchscreens, tough. You also get a fully digital instrument cluster, which I believe is the first for a Golf GTI here in Malaysia. I think the 7.5 had it. Anyway, but yeah, you now get a digital instrument cluster up ahead, as well as the new Volkswagen steering wheel, which is very meaty and very nice to hold. You also get paddle shifters, of course, but all the buttons on the steering wheel are now capacitive touch, so you slide stuff. There is a little bit of haptic feedback, but it's very, very minor. So you are going to have to lift your gaze a little bit just to take a look at these things. You also get, and talking about touch stuff, you also get a little bit of instrumentation here, a few buttons on the side here where you can change the lights and also the rear and front defoggers, and this is also touch. Mercifully, what isn't touch are the window controls. That's all still nicely manual. You also get, with this car, a 7-speed DSG, as I mentioned earlier, but you now get the world's tiniest gear selector, which I suspect was nicked out of a Porsche. However, the park button and the engine start, so everything's been integrated here. And because of the lack of buttons, this interior feels very clean. Now, one of the things that I must mention about this is the fact that sitting in this driving position, there is still plenty of space in the rear for 2 passengers, or 3 at a pinch. And also, if you have a phone, there's actually a little pocket where you can put your phone in, and there's a little flap where you close it, so that if you're driving excitedly, it's not going to go flying about the place. I don't actually know if there's a wireless charger in here because it won't tell me, but yeah, it doesn't tell me there's a wireless charger, but there should be. I hope there is, because it'd be very nice if they had one. Yeah, so that's the interior of the Golf GTI. Now, the thing about the Golf GTI, of course, is the big headline is the way it drives. But since this is at a motor show stand, we can't drive it. But we hope that we can soon, because I'm sure that there will be many wonderful things I'll be able to tell you about this, because I love the Golf GTI, and I certainly look forward to driving the new Mark 8. In any case, that's been our very quick walk around of the new Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 8. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care, stay safe. Jangan bodoh.